So I have a couple, but I think the best one is going to be the Ouija board story, and if I didn't live it myself, I wouldn't believe it. So please keep in mind, I'm old. This happened back in the early 90s, and this was before access to the internet and all the other stuff that we have now, where any of the people in this story could have like looked this up. It's just so crazy. So when I was around 13, 14 years old, we got a Ouija board. We got our hands on a Ouija board. My brother and I decided that we were going to play it. And the first couple times that we did this Ouija board, everything was completely normal. It was just, you know, yes, no, just silly questions. But then one day when we were using it, the energy in the room, everything just felt different. And the previous times when we had asked who we were talking to, I don't recall if we ever got a name, but this time when we asked who we were talking to, the planchette on the board started moving around in a figure 8. And oh gosh, like to this day, I haven't touched a Ouija board since part of this experience happened, but like to this day, I can still hear like the scratching sound of that planchette going in this figure 8. When it stopped moving in the figure 8, it ended on the very last letter of the alphabet and then would go back and forth from Z to O, Z to O, over and over and over again. This was before at least I knew anything about this thing. So immediately things felt different. It didn't feel good and happy and lighthearted, and it kind of freaked us out. And I honestly, it's been so long, and I tend to do a good job of like blocking a lot of stuff out. So the questions that were asked, I don't really recall, but I remember it just wasn't a good feeling. At the same time, it was almost like this draw to the board after that day. Like I just had to keep playing with it, and I was involving different friends, and it was like, oh, let's try it, let's see what happens. Every single time that same name would come up, no matter who I played it with. Because at first I was like, maybe it's my brother, maybe my brother was like messing around with me, but it would come up every single time, and every single time, I swear to you, it was like the happy energy was like just sucked out of the room, and it would just feel different. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. So like I said, I was just addicted to doing the Ouija board now at this point. So much so that I would become like obsessed with the Ouija board. It sounds so strange, but this wasn't my type of personality. It wasn't something that I was like, I would sit there at school and I would draw Ouija boards, and I would draw planchettes, and it just consumed me. Also, at the same time, when this was going on, my brother and I would be at the house, right? We had a bedroom, we shared a wall, but we had a bedroom up on the 3rd floor. And sorry, like 3 wasps just like came flying at my windshield. So we'd be up on the 3rd floor, and we would hear like one of our parents call our name. We'd go downstairs and we'd be like, yeah, what's up? He'd be like, what do you want? Well, you called my name. No, I didn't. It's like, okay. So then same thing would happen to my brother. He would hear my dad call his name. He would go downstairs. Nothing. He would hear me call his name. I would hear him call my name. It was like there was something in the house that was mimicking our voices and calling to us and making us go downstairs. So I just watched this back. This is the 2nd time that I've tried doing this. The sound keeps getting screwed up. So you'll see my lips moving and the sound coming after. If you want a part 2, if you're interested, the story gets crazy, but if you want a part 2, just let me know.
Z. Oh. Is this you? Z.
No, Lance, I can move this whole thing with one finger. With your fingers on it.
That's not good. It literally just spelled out ZoZo.
Can we help you?
How can we help? D-I-E. Yo. She's crying. I'm not the one doing that.
That's actually not funny.
I know I'm not the one doing it though.
Well,
Alright, let's sing something. And W, die now? And how do you expect that to happen? K I L kill. Y O U R S E L. So you expect me to die by killing myself? Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen. You think it's gonna happen? Well, you're wrong. C A. That's not even funny, dude.
I want to walk home.
That's not. It just spelled out car. That's not even funny. I knew. Why did I knew I was gonna fucking say that. Like I'm actually starting to tear up. That's not even funny. Yo, you know how scary that is? Like knowing that like. All right, so you're just effing with us, right? That's not even funny. That's not even funny.
I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. Please. Please, I'm having an anxiety attack.
Alright. Take it off. Take your hand off. Goodbye.
No.
Goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It doesn't want us to end. What happens?
It's like waiting for a time.
What happens if we take our hands off and say goodbye? D-E-A, dead. Okay, Zozo, let's be realistic here. That is not gonna happen. Yes, it's not gonna happen, and you know that. No.
Is it going to happen? Yes or no?
He's effing with us. It's not real.
I want to say goodbye, please.
Like, listen, yeah, like this may be real. Like we can contact spirits and everything, but there's no saying.
Can you please stop?
If you want to stop, we can stop. But let me like talk to you. Like
I don't want to talk with my hand on the board. Do you not understand that? Like.
All right, guys. So I have the Ouija board right here. Me and Lizzie are like ourselves right now. My camera battery just died, so I can't record.
What was that? What was that, Lance? Lance, I'm done.
What was that?
Let's go.
I think it's fine. I think it was just like. What the? What the?
Your phone!
So we're going to call this part 1.5. So I mentioned in the previous video that whatever this was that was coming through was mimicking our voices in the house. I would hear what sounded like my brother calling, my brother would hear what sounded like me, we would hear my parents calling us, and we would go down and nobody was ever calling anybody. When this stuff was happening, it was like it was trying to separate us, and I was storing the Ouija board underneath my bed in my bedroom at this point. So, well, as I said in the first video, we shared a wall, so we were both up on the 3rd floor, and it was almost like it was trying to separate us. Anyway, the one day we took the board out, and we said, is there anybody here? And it went to yes, and we said, can you tell us what your name is? And it did the figure 8, and then it went to Z, and then I won't spell the rest. I see a lot of you in the comment section do not want me spelling the name, and that's fine. It's okay. But I got frustrated that day, and I was like, what do you want? What do you want? And the board goes, P-L-A-Y.
Let's talk about the Ouija board demon you never want to encounter. Now, I'm not going to say his name because it is believed that repeating his name can summon him, but you know who I'm talking about. It's in the title. I'll even put it on the screen if I need to. This demon is known to be one of the most powerful and evil entities that you can encounter. He can cause you physical harm. He can wreak havoc in your life. He's even known for possessions. It's likely that even if you contact him, you won't know immediately because he likes to lie, of course, but he tends to pretend to be whoever it is that you're trying to contact, or sometimes he pretends to be a little kid spirit. So you have to look for the signs to know if you are actually talking to him. And there are signs. Let's talk about the signs so that you know when to shut it down. Number 1, if the planchette starts to draw figure 8s or the letter Z on the board, that is a sign that you are speaking to this entity and you need to say goodbye. This entity also goes by several names. So if it starts spelling out things like ZO, ZO, ZA, ZA, MA, there are several different names. I'll actually put all the ones that I know of right here on the screen. If it starts spelling out any of those names, automatic sign, you are contacting this demon. It is also said that other really scary signs that you've contacted this demon is that glass could break. It may be a mirror in the room. Any kind of glass in the room could break. And also anyone in the area, in the house, in the room, in the vicinity of where you are doing this could be scratched. As you can see, this is a very evil thing that you probably want nothing to do with. So if you think that you have made contact with this entity, close out the board properly, put everything away, or even get rid of the board if you can. I still stand by not playing it at all, but again, if you're going to, at least now you know the signs to look out for and the ways to keep yourself safe.
Okay, so part 2. This is the part that I'm dreading telling because as unbelievable as part 1 is, part 2 is so ridiculously unbelievable. And I've already had comments that I have deleted because I'm not keeping your stupid comments that are like, Ouija boards aren't real and this is bull. I don't care. Don't believe me. Just scroll on. If you leave a dumb comment, I'm deleting it. Okay, thanks. So something was mimicking our voices in the house after we played with the Ouija board. Something was calling my name, my brother's name. We thought it was each other. We thought it was our parents. The voice would be different, but it was pretty consistent. So after that, we decided we're not playing with the Ouija board in the house anymore. That was it. We were going to bring it outside. We were going to play at friends' houses because some of our friends really didn't care at that time. So we bring this Ouija board over to a friend's house. There were 5 of us that were sitting down at this table to do the Ouija board and try to contact this specific spirit. Why? I don't know, because we were stupid, because it kept coming through, because no matter how many times we played with the Ouija board, it would come through anyway, and we'd be like, no, we're not talking to this thing, and we'd go to goodbye, and we'd say goodbye, and then we would do the board again, and it would come back again, every single time. So we were like, you know what, we're gonna confront it. So 5 friends sitting down at this table. We light a candle. We're like, is this entity here with us? We get the figure 8. We get the yes. And then again, everything in the room just shifts. We felt the table that we were sitting at start to vibrate. Of course, you think maybe there's a truck that drives by, maybe something in the house kicked on, like a furnace or something, and it starts vibrating the table. Good thought. Here's the unbelievable stuff. It gets worse. So the table felt like it lifted off the ground and then slammed down. It wasn't any more than maybe an inch or 2, but we felt our hands on the planchette and the board and the table all go up and then slam. Bear with me, it gets worse. So after that, the one person that was sitting at the table, this girl that we were friends with, her entire demeanor completely changed, and she got this look in her eye and this like smirk on her face, and immediately we were all like, oh hell no, like say goodbye right now, that's it, we're done. That didn't help. So we said goodbye. Somebody took the board outside, and this person started fighting the other people around. Like, something took over her. I don't know. She was literally fighting with guys that were twice her size, fighting to get away from them, to get to another person that we were friends with. Like, she wanted to just go and attack this person for no reason. Nothing that... Anyway, so she was acting crazy. My brother took the board outside into the garage where a couple of other friends of ours that weren't a part of this, they were having band practice, and they had been a part of everything that was going on leading up to this day, knowing that we were contacting this weird entity on this board and that stuff was getting weird and it was affecting people. So one of the guys that was there said, F this, and he was going to break the board in half, which he did. Here's another part that's, again, if I wasn't there, I wouldn't believe it. But when he snapped the board in half outside in the garage, the girl that was acting crazy, literally trying to physically attack people in the house, dropped like that and passed out. People came running from the house and said, so-and-so just passed out, at the same time that that board was snapped in half. Just wait, it gets better and better. It gets more unbelievable. So, snapping the board in a garage. Garage was completely separate from the house, okay? It was a separate standalone garage, a driveway, and then a house. So, anyway, snap the board, girl passes out. We're like, oh my God, everybody's freaking out. Guy that snapped the board is like, we're gonna burn it. So everybody thought that was a good idea. I'm just going to tell this quickly because it's just so freaking unreal. Part of me to this day, I'm like, my logical brain is like, it was something inside the board. It was the way the board was burning. It had to be. But with everything else that was going on, it just made it that much crazier, scarier, spookier. They're burning this board out on this driveway. And the thing is, now I told you, it was already snapped in half. From the part that it was snapped in half where it's got like the jagged edges, there was red stuff that was seeping out of it and like bubbling up on the ground. To us at that time, when this was all going on, when this craziness was happening, it looked bloody. I know. But anyway, that is how it appeared. And it was making sounds as it was burning, which again, that can happen. I've been around fires and wood and, bonfires, fire pits, things like that. But the fact that this board looked like it was bleeding and sounded like it was making shrieking sounds as it was burning made this even more terrifying. Okay, I think I'm done with the unbelievable shit, kind of. So, the girl that had passed out, after all this went down, everybody kind of went their separate ways that night. There was a lot of stuff that happened, but I can tell you, things were not okay for a while with her. I haven't talked to her in so long, probably about a year or two after this incident happened. We went to the same school for a while. I eventually moved away, but for at least a week or two, things were just weird. Like, she would call our house and just be like, hey, how's it going? Do you guys want to hang out? In a creepy freaking, like, I'm gonna murder you kind of way. Like, it was just scary. And ever since that day, I haven't touched a board. I go ghost hunting. I go looking for explanations as to why people have experiences with spirits, with entities. Is there more? But I won't touch a Ouija board. I'm sorry. And I know plenty of people who use them as spirit communication tools, and plenty of people that say they're not real. That's fine. everybody is entitled to their own whatever, but I will never, ever, 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 probably never touch one again. And I'm not talking about it in my house. I came out to sit in my car to have this conversation with y'all because I'm so afraid that that crazy ass thing will like find me. Like if I talk about it, I'm gonna open up the door and yeah. All right, anyway, that's it. Bye.
Ouija board story time. I highly suggest you put your AirPods on or headphones, whatever you have. I have no business filming this in my house, but the car was way too hot and I just couldn't bear it. This story was submitted by Maria. I went ahead and tagged her down below. So when Maria was about 12 years old, her and her sister used to play with a homemade Ouija board. Her main purpose of doing this was for her to connect with her grandfather who had passed away. Maria never got to meet him, so she thought what better way to get to know him than contacting him through a Ouija board. As time went on, the Ouija board became an obsession for Maria and her sister. For whatever reason, they could not stop playing with it. They just always felt the need to constantly be on the board. They soon realized that the person they had contacted was not her grandfather, that it was in fact a D word. They actually found out the name of this D word, which I'll put right here. Don't ever say this word out loud, trust me. He is known as one of the most controlling D words in like Ouija board history. But back to the story. One night, Maria and her sister were playing with the board and they had a picture of her grandfather, like right next to them. But out of nowhere, Maria felt a hand on her back. She quickly got excited and said, "We did it, we finally contacted Grandpa," not realizing that it was actually putting his hand on her back. Later that night, after Maria went to bed, she got woken up by this D word jumping on top of her and trying to like choke her. She woke up sweating and crying. She went and woke her sister up and her sister did her best to try to calm her down. The very next day, Maria went to her grandmother's house and took the homemade Ouija board with her. As soon as she got to her grandmother's house, she dug a hole in the backyard and buried the Ouija board, hoping that that would be the end of it. But she was wrong. 1 week after she did this, her parents came home crying, telling her that the grandmother had passed away in her sleep due to a Maria was stunned when she heard the news and blamed herself because had she not wanted to contact her grandfather, none of this would have happened. They ended up laying her grandmother to rest and did not perform an autopsy due to the fact that she was already of age. I mean, she was 88 years old. Regardless of this, Maria states that her grandmother was extremely healthy for her age. After the funeral, Maria tried to kind of put it in the back of her head until she went to her grandmother's room and found the Ouija board she had buried in the backyard under her grandmother's bed.
Sorry, I have to hold the camera really close to my face because every time I make one of these videos, the sound goes away. Crazy, right? So let's talk more about some of the weird stuff that happened when we would play on the board. So the one day that I asked, what do you want? Because I was frustrated. The board spelled out P-L-A-Y. And we're like, yeah, okay, we're not doing this. We're not gonna play with this weird thing that was coming through. But as I said in another video, I became really, really, really obsessed with the board and playing. And even though whenever this thing would come through, we would say goodbye and then try again the next day or try again later or maybe a couple days later, I always went back to it. And there were times where we would start, hey, is there anybody here? Yes. Is there, can you tell us what your name is? And there were times when it would come through and say it was like a little girl. And then eventually, like, we would get a couple questions in and this thing would start making that figure eight. It would be like it was going to answer our question and it was like it didn't know quite how to spell it or something, and then all of a sudden that figure eight would start again.
Spirit here with us? Are you a good spirit? Okay, we're looking for Alta. Destiny wants to speak with Alta. Alta, are you here? Yes. Alta, can you give us a message for Destiny? Yes. Can you give us a message for Destiny? A L A L W A Y S always M A M.
Oh, always mama. Goodbye.
Oh my God! Right. Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah. And that's crazy. Look at that meter going off like that.
Yep. Good. Bye.
Goodbye.
I did that shit so fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You ready?
About always mama.
Oh my God, right. You seen that?
Yup.
Okay, I am walking to the gym and I have a busy day, so I wanted to get this story out there. Anyways, so the predictions, they were wild. The first one, so it was that same night, my friends wanted to ask me questions. And I was like, I'm not interested. I'm not playing this game. And it was all about like that semester or whatever. And the first person goes, Helen. She goes, who's gonna be my first hookup in college? Whatever. Small, innocent enough. But the ZoZo responded with Nicole 213. And mind you, none of us knew that Helen was gay. So we're like, Nick. So the next one goes Sarah. Sarah asks how she's gonna do on her finals. And it says, fail 2. Bill asks if him and his long-term high school sweetheart are going to get married, and says no, he didn't get broken up with, and he had a ring in his pocket. He planned on getting engaged. And then of course it comes to me, and I'm like, I'm not playing this game. My friends want to play it for me, and he asked if he had anything to say for me, and he said, be careful. So of course everyone was really interested in this one, yay. And essentially it said I was going to get in a car accident in New Hampshire, which is where I lived, in September with a great car. Catch is, no one knew this, I used to have repeated dreams of getting in a car accident on a back road in New Hampshire, and it was the gray Volkswagen that hit me every single time. Repeated dream I used to have. So of course my stomach sank, but I played along like, oh, this is never gonna happen, because why would I go to college in September and then go back home, which is, by the way, like 8-hour drive that same month? It's not gonna happen. Very long story short, all the predictions started to come true. Sarah failed 2 of her midterms. Bill got in a drunken fight with his fiance and she dumped him. Well, yeah, he proposed and she said yes, and then dumped him. And then Helen, I walked into her room one day, looked like a hot mess, and on the floor was a note that said, had a great time. I'm staying in Brenda's room, 213. Nicole. At that point, I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die in a car accident, exactly like how my dreams predicted. I'm like, oh, problem solved. Just not going to go back to New Hampshire. I ended up getting a fucking ticket that required me to go back to New Hampshire and go to court in September. And I was like, I'm for sure going to die. For sure going to die. And I almost fucking did. I almost did. I was on a highway and some car out front of me was carrying wood, very, very Final Destination, in the trailer unhinged and almost hit me in the very last second. On a highway, turned left and didn't hit anyone. So all the predictions came true except for I didn't actually die. Did you protect me?
Okay, gather around because the story might make you think twice about ever messing with the supernatural. When I was about 10 years old, I was at a sleepover with one of my friends. We're gonna call her Ruby, okay? And during the sleepover, it was me, her, and then 5 other girls, and we stayed in the RV that was behind her house. And her parents, of course, stayed in the house. We were having a blast, okay? We were eating pizza, we were playing games, we were laughing, living our best 10-year-old life, okay? We're having a great time, and then pause. One of the other girls pulls a Ouija board out of her bag. When she pulled out the Ouija board, everybody else was hype as fuck. Not me. No, ma'am. My gut was already screaming, don't do it. This is a bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. I held true and made my mama proud, okay? I was like, I'm not touching that. And of course, I got called a chicken, like, you're such a chicken, like, you're so scared. First of all, bitch, I'm not the one who's got issues. Just kidding, I kinda do. Of course, they start asking the board, like, is anyone there? Hello, are you here? Do you want to speak with us? Hello. For a few minutes, there was no answer. But suddenly, the planchette moves to yes. My heart dropped, okay? And all these girls are like, stop it, Ruby, stop moving it. And Ruby's like, I'm not moving it. And all the girls are like, okay, someone's moving it. But everyone's like, I'm not moving it, I'm not moving it, I'm not moving it, I'm not moving it. And here I am. Ruby then asked, what is your name? And the silence was so loud. But then Ruby was feeling, this girl was feeling brave, okay? She starts taunting this spirit. Oh, are you scared? Just tell us your name, you coward. And that is where the darkness started, bitch. The air in the RV got so thick. Then, okay, I got chills already. The planchette starts moving frantically, okay? And I'm talking like figure 8 frantically. Literally figure 8ing, bitch. I mean like this, non-stop, okay? I have, look, can you see it? I got fucking chills, bro. I don't like it. Kind of don't want to say out loud what it spelled, so I'm gonna write it down. Or maybe that's worse. I don't know. I'm gonna use sign language. And I'm gonna do it y'all's way. Did you catch that? Ruby laughed at this name and said, "What kind of name is that?" And I felt an instant chill run down my spine. The atmosphere just shifted, and then literally the lights just turn off. Of course, we all start fucking screaming. Like, what else are you gonna fucking do in a situation like that? I want to scream right now. Oh my God. I mean, the lights were out for probably 45 seconds until they just turned back on. And it wasn't like somebody just like flipped the power. I mean, those things flickered and then turned the fuck off. When I looked at Ruby, her eyes were rolled in the back of her head and she was completely unresponsive. Ugh. You know, me and the other girls, like, we're shaking her and we're like, Ruby, 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 trying to get her to snap back into whatever fucking realm she's in. And right after that, she just fell backwards and it looked like she was sleeping. And me and the other girls are just like, and we're sitting here thinking like this shit's a prank, you know? I know something you don't. I know something you will never. Shut up. The tension was just so unbearable. Like, all the girls were like, okay, yeah, we're going to sleep. Me, I barely slept, okay? I knew something was not right, okay? I slept for maybe an hour. The next morning, I felt off. I was the first one to get up. I'm looking around, and Ruby, nowhere to be found. So I woke everyone up, and I'm like, yo, dude, do you know where Ruby went? They're like, no. What the fuck? Okay, so maybe, you know, she went inside. Who knows? So we all are like freaking out, kind of like, where is she after what just happened last night? The fuck? And we go into her house. Oh my God, bro, chills. We go into her house and we're asking her mom, like, hey, do you know where Ruby is? And her mom's face went blank. Like, what do you mean, do I know where Ruby is? We're like, she didn't come inside, right? And her mom's like, no. So we all take off outside and we're screaming like, Ruby, Ruby, where are you? Where are you, bitch? They lived on a lot of land. And behind the RV, we start walking and there this bitch is. She's laying down in the grass, face down. Her mom goes to grab her and she's like kind of shaking her like, Ruby, wake up, because she's breathing. Ruby starts screaming to the top of her fucking lungs, okay? That scream is something I will never get out of my head. It's, yeah, no. So after she screamed, Daddy hears it. Ew, that was so southern, what the fuck? Her dad hears her scream. He comes running out. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's not saying anything, okay? So her mom, scared as fuck, as she should be, like the rest of us, okay? She goes inside and she calls our parents to come pick us up. Boom. And keep in mind, this was a time like, I didn't have a cell phone. I don't think any of us held a cell phone at 10. I don't know. The times are changing. It's weird. I personally did not have a cell phone. So when I was keeping up with friends, it was using the house phone to contact them, okay? Like, yeah, we had internet, but Facebook wasn't a thing. We didn't have any way to like contact her, like, hey, are you okay? Like, it was just, nobody heard from her and nobody called her. The scariest part of this, it gets worse, unfortunately. She didn't return back to school the rest of the year, okay? We're probably halfway through the year. Bro, I cannot deny the fucking chills. The next year, Ruby comes back to school. But it's not fucking Ruby, bitch. I barely recognized her and I haven't spoken to her in what, 6-7 months, right? Her eyes just looked off. They were very hollow. Her skin was pale as shit. No, I'm not talking about Edward. Sorry. There was something about her that just made me feel very unsettled. Like, it's so hard to describe that feeling. It was like an unsettling darkness. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, I didn't feel right, you know, and she didn't look right. But the creepiest part of all of this, I have tried to search for this girl, and you know me, bitch. You give me a name, background, where you live, your phone number, all of your email addresses, who you're related to, bitch, I will find everything, okay? I found nothing on her. Literally nothing. It's literally like she vanished. I can't find her. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Google, no True People Search, no arrest. Like, it's like she never fucking existed. I'm going to say, without a doubt in my mind, I watched that bitch get possessed, okay? And like what you see on TV, bitch, what you see on TV shows, movies, like it's very, I don't know. I think something's telling me not to talk about this anymore. Heed my warning. Don't fuck with the Ouija board. And I know for some people they say, oh, it doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you, okay? But no. And if you know anything about the person that she was speaking with through the Ouija board, you know now, because as a kid, I didn't know what the fuck that was, who the fuck that was, what it meant. Now that I know that, just don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. What if you open a door to something that never wanted to be found? I just think some spirits are better left undisturbed. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Now, you already know I love haunted shit, but I have gotten chills telling this whole entire story. My heat is on in this house, and I'm gonna stop talking about it, and I'm gonna get off. Love y'all, bye.